Harder Brunch presents Back to Adult Summer Camp.
Sponsored by Upland Brewing and Culinary Crossroads.
August 23rd through the 25th.
We have comedian headliners Kelly Collette and Dwight Simmons.
We got musical acts Draco, Sirius Black, Philosophy of Music, and Tuesday Atlas.
Activities like archery, canoeing, campfire, swimming, crafts. Don't forget to get your tickets at eventbrite.com.
Harder Brunch. Nope, we're not going to say that together, but it's Harder Brunch.
I'm eating brunch with my people though. The homie Dyke just cooked up a feast and we bout to eat it, bro. Fucked around and has to mix the lobster with the poutine. Daddy is rolling blue dream. Them boys got down a routine. It's Naptown culture. Cooking 7 courses. Had to pass the torch and now I'm grabbing second portion. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and a smoke. It's Harder Brunch on the way and get prepared for the jokes. Whoa.
Hi, and welcome to the Harder Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Dyke Michaels. With me, as always, my co-host, Thaddaeus Mckee.
Snappity pappity wait, wait.
On the ones, the twos, the wheels of steel, the sauce boss of Indianapolis, and the last bespoke dragon. Give it up for Zach Roan, everybody.
I like that you rolled your slappy pappies on that one.
Yeah, it's a roller now.
That was a really good one.
Thank you.
Patreon.com/Harder Brunch.
Thank you, Casey Campbell. Oh, man. Things are falling apart.
That was so smooth.
Yeah.
What is the
Good.
Patreon? Do we still have one up?
We do have a Patreon. It's like every single week we make an extra episode after we get more intoxicated and say all the things we're not supposed to say. And for $3 a month, you can be part of that.
So it's like a whole separate comedy podcast?
It's like a whole separate. It's called the After Brunch, actually.
That's awesome. Only $3?
Only $3. You waste more than that.
What does that money go towards?
You know, like
Us being better?
Us being better people, sometimes worse people. It depends on what we do with the money.
Okay. I like that. More events.
I'm signing up right now.
Right now.
I don't know.
We need
That's the
a
sound
cash
of it.
register sound.
Yeah, ching.
Cha-ching.
A Patreon sound.
A Patreon sound. Two very special guests with us in studio. First time, Kyle from Strangebird.
They sound like they're like lawyers, but like they work for shit. If you've had problems at Strangebird, call Kyle and Kyle.
Now wait. You had said before the show you wanted to be called something else.
Okay. Everyone calls me Turbo.
Oh.
At Strangebird.
I'm sorry, I thought Turbo was your father's name. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Mr. Turbo.
Big Dan,
Okay.
father of Turbo.
Big Dan Turbo.
Yeah,
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Turbo, Little Turbo. But I don't care. It's just one of those things that happen and that is associated with me.
It actually happened when we were both at a party.
Yeah.
And we were like meeting. I'm like, you're Kyle. He's like, no, you're Kyle. And he's like, call me Turbo.
I like it.
Dude, that was like 10 years ago. And it like has kind of stuck in our friend group, which is turned into the restaurant. More or less.
Have you seen the movie Turbo Kid?
Yeah. Is that with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, that's
Turbo Man.
It's
Turbo
Turbo
Man.
time.
Yeah.
But pretty much, I love that. That's a good movie. But Turbo Time's fucking.
Wait, Turbo Time is a movie?
No, I was about to say that's from fucking. I Think You Should Leave.
That is from.
Yeah, but the Turbo Man.
Yes.
Good movie. No, Turbo Kid is like an '80s like retro post-apocalyptic movie that like came out in like 2013 or some shit. But I got obsessed with it.
Oh, with the BMX bikes?
Yeah. Oh my! I was literally about to say it's
yeah.
like BMX bikes,
Yeah.
obscene gore, and it's like it's sick. It's a good movie, but like I got obsessed with it. I like was in this time. I was like 21, I think, and like dyed my hair, like bleached my hair for the first time. I was like starting to grow a mustache, and I was dyeing it.
Yeah.
And so I thought I looked fucking like badass. And I like the first time I like did it, and I like had the whole fucking. I had a picture for the longest time. I had like nightshades, fucking the yellow blue blockers that you're supposed to drive at night with, the aviators.
Yeah.
Bleached hair, dyed mustache, and I was like, I'm Turbo Cal. And like it just turned into Turbo from that.
Yeah.
And Kyle and I met, and that was like a fucking decade ago. Like I was like, he was like, no, you're Turbo, and I'm Kyle. And like then it just carried over in the restaurant because when I first started working there, it was like, you're the other Kyle. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
fine, but like
That's no fun.
You can call me Kyle.
I was he's got a way cooler name than that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it's like
nobody wants to be the other anything.
No,
exactly. No, it's like
so like when I was from high school. I mean, he's still one of my best friends. But starting in high school, my best friend's name was Mike, and my name was Mike, and like it was like we'd be in the hallway, somebody would call, we both look, and it just got old, Right. And then by the time we like moved in like to an apartment, we had this guy that came around, and all the girls called him Hot Mike, and I was like, well, that's hurtful because there's 3 of us, and this guy gets to be Hot Mike. And so it definitely felt like being the other Mike. I was like, well, there's Hot Mike and then you guys.
Maybe it was secretly about his breath,
Ooh.
Or it's like, they used to call like big guys tiny. Maybe he was Ugly Mike. And you're the Hot Mike.
I don't think so.
Oh,
it's like Ugly Rob from the Italian Job, if you're familiar.
Is he hot?
Jason Statham. Yeah, he's hot. Jason Statham.
Arguably, some people think he's gross.
I love how he just keeps coming out with action movies that just have the most mundane titles. It's like, The Parking Guard.
Yeah. Transporter 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That is funny.
The Maitre d'. It's like it's like the worse his job, the more ass he's gonna kick.
Yeah. The mead mater.
Meter mater.
I know.
The meter reader.
Yeah,
the meter reader.
He mates with meat. No, I can't even say it.
Well, welcome to the program. Both you guys are chefs, and you guys both are working at Strangebird in Irvington, which I have to say, man, you guys have put Irvington on the map as a destination where people are actually coming to for food and raving about it. It's something like people like anytime it gets brought up, people are telling me how's it. I was like, I know how good it is. I live like right there. I'm a block away.
They haven't been to Chicago Beef and Dog because like I mean I'm obviously biased, but like Strangebird rocks. I love it. The drinks are sick. I love everything that we have there, but it's like Chicago Beef and Dog. Have you been?
Oh yeah, they have a food truck now,
bro. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good, and like I feel like we're like good, like we're good, but like we're on this like held to like a different standard, which is dumb because it's like Chicago Beef and Dog's so fucking consistent. It is so good. It is fresh. It is awesome. I'm like, we need to talk about all the other places in here too because that shit fucking kicks ass.
Yeah, but we didn't invite them here today, and this arguably isn't about Chicago Beef and Dog. It's about Strangebird, which has changed my life. All right, I went to Strangebird several times. I brought friends there, and people have said it's the best ramen they've ever. I brought someone from Japan. He used to work and live in Japan. He's like, Thaddaeus, like, I've had good ramen. You're not gonna impress me. And I was like, let's just try it. And he ate it, and he's silenced for a little bit, shaking the head. Hey, this is really good damn ramen. But yeah. So what I'm trying to say, some people have said it's the best food they've ever had. You've done something there that is remarkable.
Thank you.
And I like the fact that it's a smaller menu,
Yeah.
Is it just ramen and oysters and like a couple other items?
The size of Strangebird at this point, it's kind of it's a decently large restaurant. I would say it's kind of bigger than I would always like it to be. But at the same point, I can't it's such a good opportunity to be able to continuously fill seats like that in a size like that and be successful.
Yeah.
So when we started out, I guess I've been at Strangebird for about 4 years, and I was kind of doing Heartbreaker and Strangebird kind of together, which was really chaotic. It's like kind of running like 2 restaurants at once, almost out of one kitchen. And so we just evolved through that from like COVID and stuff like that. But I had Show You Shop as a pop-up, and I really wanted to pursue that in some way. And because Strangebird is such a big space, we had the other like little kitchen on the other side of the building. So we kind of started just kind of doing more than one thing at once again like that. And then, the ramen was kind of taken off. So we just sort of ran with that. Now I'd say it's, I try to make the ramen like my focus because that's what I want. But we have a decent amount of variety while still being able to have a limited menu and, keep things from getting too complicated because I get kind of, I don't know, control freak sometimes, but Thaddaeus.
It's in the sake of having good quality stuff.
Yeah.
Though. It's like the fucking keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, I'm very much on like the more you expand your menu, like the more something else will suffer on the menu.
Sure, yeah.
So that's really what I'm.
I feel like that
trying to work
about
through.
everything in life. I feel like we all can juggle like 3 balls, but it's that 4th ball that always like
Right.
Starts
gets
fucking
dropped.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts messing you up. How good are you at shucking oysters now, Turbo?
Really fucking good. I don't really care about oysters eating them wise, but I had never shucked nor eaten an oyster before I started working at Strangebird. And my dad used to make fun of me for not having a work ethic. And so like, and this isn't like trauma or anything, but it's like when I found something that was like, okay, like I'm like pretty all right at this. I was like, I'm going to get really fucking good at this so I can like have this weird sense of accomplishment. So it became a hyperfixation for like, it took me like 6 months to be like, I can do this fast, I can do this clean. And I literally would fall asleep watching like YouTube rabbit holes of oysters just so I could be like, I wanted to be the man, you know? And it's stupid because it's not stupid. It's silly because it's like, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm shucking oysters, which immediately I understand people being like,
It's like
oysters and
instant bias. To,
and it's like
yeah.
I get it, but it's also like I buy oysters from one of the more reputable like places.
Oyster Kings.
Yeah, dude. Island Creek Oysters, Duxbury, Massachusetts, pretty much controls like a good amount of the market on the whole East Coast, like Northeast Coast, like up into like Canada and shit. They get everything shipped to them. They're kind of like a hub, and then I get shit sent overnight. So I'm getting from sometimes like 30 different farms are getting shipped to them to ship out. And I'm getting a better variety, more specific, sought like cared after oysters. Not saying like anything else is like, I don't think that other places are getting bad oysters, but I just think that I get better oysters, and I have become such a hyperfixation of like making it good to where I'm like, all right, like this is special because of this. I get this, like I have these things that like I know what to order. My oyster plug knows when to text me like, hey, like I saved you these because these are like people are buying these. French Laundry, Thomas Keller has a specific oyster grown with Island Creek for his restaurant. And like that was the thing that I was like, that's fucking tight. But then it's like, hey, like I was about to say,
too,
like
yeah.
her being like, yo, I have 2 of these left over. Do you want them? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. That's like a stupid, like that's a flex to be like, I have the same oysters that Thomas Keller is shucking for you. And I know that like, I mean, Strangebird in Irvington, that's cool, and I love that.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's also like, it's the French Laundry, you know, like you're getting good shit from me, like, and then like. So, like, that also made me be like, I have to do this well. Because if I'm not, then I'm just getting a fucking, like, beautiful steak and cooking it with a Bic lighter. Like, that's silly. Why would you want to serve something that's, like, so nice shittily?
Big steaks are good, though.
Big steaks.
I haven't had a good big steak in a long time. But, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I do like the fact though, like I feel like sometimes you can have the cart before the horse with like a good restaurant where it's just like this restaurant is based on this, everyone knows this chef, everyone knows this name, and then people are just gonna come. But I feel like Strangebird almost happened in reverse, where it was just like this just really consistent good place opened up.
Yeah.
People just started coming, because I've seen a lot of places not work in that space,
Right?
and a lot of spaces not work in Irvington.
I was about to say, Irvington's damn near cursed with that.
so to not only survive but thrive and become a destination, because it's like, even for the podcast, there's a lot of people like, I'm like, oh, I live in Irvington, and they're like, Irvington, like that's 4 miles away. Yeah, but like now it's just like, I know people that live on the north side, and people live in Broderpool, people live on the west side. And like, I get mad when I hear people or see people like tag pictures of Strangebird. I'm like, you were in my hood, you didn't say hi. Like, you could have stopped by, you know? Like people that should say hi.
Right.
The backyard, man.
So there's something that I think that's really cool and special about that, about how you guys have become a destination. But it's also the neighborhood hangout too, which is like cool. It's like any given time I go in there and it's just like, you know, all the neighbors and stuff like that. Whole block has become real cool. Now you got this snug,
totally.
Snug rocks, and it's like the people of this neighborhood are like, just there's a huge variety. First of all, which is tight, but like there's not really any like genuine shitheads where I'm like,
oh, there are, but I just don't think they go out.
Exactly. So it's like all the people that I see from
the
what?
Gas can, dude.
I love gas can. There's a guy that walks by asking for gas money like 3 times a week, and I'm like, are you really out of gas? But I'm also, every time he asks, he's like, you got any cash for gas? I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I don't. He's like, hey, raw. Just walks away.
At least he commited to the can.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's like,
that's like,
gotta have my trick, dude. Like,
we're like, we've seen you do this so many times, dude.
He's a legend, man.
Yeah.
What is, Turbo, what's your culinary background before Strangebird? It's all right. It's not your question.
None. No, my parents cooked as a kid, and like, I'm not like shit talking them. It wasn't like anything crazy. I never like, I've always loved cooking. My parents weren't like great cooks or anything, so I don't have like any cool like background story. I just like cooking. I'm a big guy. Like, I just like food. It's sick. And I had never worked in a kitchen. I had never shucked an oyster. I'd never had an oyster. I didn't really know jack shit about actually working in a kitchen before this. And honestly, when I first hit up Kyle about it, I was trying to get a job bussing tables because I was bussing tables at Kuma's. I just wanted like a change of pace. But he was like, do you want to shuck oysters? And I was, yeah, cool. That sounds cool. And then like I was like doing that, but also working in the kitchen because like back then it wasn't like I was doing like a high volume of oysters a night. So I would have to like fucking fill my time.
Yeah.
In general, like slowly just started like picking up on everything. I know everything that I know about cooking because of Kyle, Tice, fucking Derek, everyone that works in the kitchen, Blake, Tito, all of the fucking dudes, Kev, and it's just like I've been taught through this.
Yeah.
Which is probably the coolest way that I could have been taught, because it's like I came into a restaurant that, like, when I first started working there, like, people knew about Strangebird, but now it's like you're saying, like, it's becoming like kind of a destination, which is sick, and it honestly doesn't feel like real sometimes until like people open their mouths at the table and like, I've never been here before, I'm from blah blah blah, or like there's like this couple of girls that come from like Chicago like every couple of weeks, they're like, we come here for oysters. I'm just like, that's fucking sick, because you can get oysters in Chicago, like Publican in Chicago, awesome restaurant. They also have like a fucking flagship oyster that they grow with Island Creek, so it's like you can go other places, but like for you to say like you're coming to Indianapolis to like fucking Irvington to Strangebird to do this is like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I must be doing something right, learning something right. Fucking,
it's pretty validating.
It really is, and it's like I never thought that I would be doing this, but the fact that I am is like so fucking sick, because like all of the dudes I work with are my best friends.
Right.
Like,
So you feel like you kind of like fell into food?
I fell into food because I'm a big guy. I literally fell face first into food.
I feel like there's some people that are like, oh, this is my passion, this is my whatever. Like, I was definitely a person where I tried every other kind of job and either hated it or failed at it.
Yeah.
And food was just always something like, I could do this.
Yeah.
But I've had told myself for so many years that it was just like, well, I'll do this until I find my real job, you know? But then it's just like, after a while, you're like, well, I just want to get better at cooking, or I want to get, you know, XYZ. And then all of a sudden it just becomes the thing that you're like, well, I've done this for 20 years. Like, how'd this happen?
Before that, like, I'm kind of a lifer when it comes to like jobs and stuff. Like my first job, I worked at Meijer for like 2.5 years. Then from there, I went and worked at GuitarCenter.com for fucking 7 years, selling guitars and shit, which I've been in bands and stuff since I was 16, 17, so it made sense.
Yeah. What kind of bands?
Good ones.
A lot. Decent ones. Like, but I've been in a lot of different bands at this point. And I love that, because like it's one of those things. I've always like kind of held cooking and music to the same level for like
discipline and
just everything. It's so like And
I
was about to
can
say,
throw in on that.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's composition. Recipes are composition. You have your parts, you have your ingredients that make everything the full picture that it is, and like putting all that shit together. But also on the flip side of that, being in a kitchen is like being in a band, where it's like you have all these dudes or people. We have a dude kitchen. We have all these people that are like working together to make everything run smoothly, and like you're trying to put out the best thing that you can, the best product. Like likewise in a band, you're with a bunch of other people trying to have a like mind to like take the direction, bam, bam, point A, point B, do the cleanest, coolest, badass shit you can do. And it made sense to me to go, like when it happened, because it did accidentally happen. I did fall into it. Sorry to answer your question. Yes, I fell into food. So like with Kyle just asking if like I would chuck oysters. Yeah. And then it really clicked for me when it was like, oh, I'm working with all these people, and we're like,
Yeah, I knew,
we
I
have
knew
to
you
like
would get it, you know.
Yeah, and then like he took a big risk on me, which is sick. I love that.
Question. Can I ask a question, Dyke?
Sure. Yes.
Guys,
You get one per episode.
I know I only get one. I'm nervous about it. No, how hard is shucking oysters? There's people who are listening right now that might not have a clue about what shucking oysters entails, and like what does it take to get good at it? I'm sure practice, but
I would say, I mean,
He taught me.
yeah, I remember first learning it at Ivy Tech years ago, and part of the culinary program. It's like, I mean, I went through everything, and I think my whole time there, I probably shucked like 20 total. And they're like, all right, yeah, you're good. You have the skill. It's learned. And then 3 years later, I'm working at Strangebird, and Neil like wants to get the oysters reacclimated after COVID, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I know how to shuck an oyster. Watching a bunch of YouTube videos, you know. But no, for sure, it's definitely like, I mean, if you can find the hinge and you know where to put the knife and everything, from there it's all technique, and I don't think you can be coached through it without just going
Messing up.
for it.
I was about to say that
A
is
bunch of times. Like I remember, so when Turbo started, that was like February 10th or something. Like we were like coming right into Valentine's Day, and he shucked like every oyster on Valentine's Day. So we did like, I don't know, like 300 or something like that. So
my God.
so literally he goes from like his first day even like attempting it to like, bro, you're in the fire.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. I'm like, just make sure they're clean.
Yes.
Like I don't nothing else matters
Wow.
at this point. Like,
is it like taxing on the wrist? Like, is it a lot of wrist motion?
like I do wrist like hand stretches and shit, like the fucking calisthenics for your hands. But it's like it's not really physically taxing, except for the fact that you are wielding a knife that is getting jammed into like a shell, and there is so much room for air with that to where you stab it. Like I used to cut my hand open like 3 times a week.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, like not like the worst ones that I've had are like they weren't even like probably like 1/8 of an inch deep in my hand, but like you get a lot of like jabs for the first like it took me a really long time to be comfortable like just straight up raw dogging it, like no gloves, no like I just put an oyster on top of a towel, and then I just put my hand over it, and I.
So you could raw dog an oyster now.
Oh, dude, I can raw dog an oyster fucking hand off the. I can go on table, off table. I've been working on doing it without looking at it, just so I can like. Be like fucking like.
Raw
people are
dog
like, oh,
excellence.
that's scary. Yeah, dude. Like,
What's the most challenging way you could raw dog an oyster?
is that from fucking
Blindfolded, I would say Daredevil style.
Yeah. The most challenging way would probably be
Like over
behind
your
my.
back?
Behind the back?
Yeah,
I was about to say
yeah.
behind the back would be hard.
Behind the back raw dog.
With your teeth?
In handcuffs. With a pair of handcuffs
I'm
on.
fucking shucking Houdini over here, dude. That'd be badass.
I mean, that could be a whole
fidget
show,
spinner.
though. Yeah, that could be an
Raw
aspect.
dogging
Yeah,
oysters?
it's like a magic show during your dinner service.
Between the legs.
You're
Between
on
the
this.
legs.
Oh, whoa. Alley-oop. Okay, I
Alley-oop,
have, I
raw
have
dog
seen
oysters?
2 coworkers.
Trick shucking.
I'm pretty sure it was like Blake and Kevin. Blake shucking an oyster, Kevin standing across the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, dude,
Blake
I have
shucks
that
it
video.
and knife scrapes it
No.
off into Kevin's mouth.
No.
Hardest shit. I've never done that.
That's
So like he's got that on
raw
me.
dogging
Well,
into
that
the
takes
mouth
raw dogging
oyster.
into his boy's mouth.
That takes 2
Yeah.
because the catcher has to be on point too. right?
Exactly.
That's-
No, they're both talented.
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I had the exact same kind of thing happen where like I've shucked an oyster or two before, and like I was helping a friend out with a catering event. And he was like, "You did the oyster station, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got it, no problem." And then I was just like, the first couple ones, I like kind of, I'll put this in the bad pile. Yeah. And I was like, I'll come back to these. These are really difficult to open. And then it was just like 10 minutes before I got one open. And then I was like, it was like the bad pile just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then I was just like, man, I am rusty. And then at first I thought of you when I did, like, because I was just like, man, I know there's guys out here just winging them out. Like, I'm doing such a poor job. But it was like a thing where like it got easier as the day went on.
No,
you kind of got locked into it.
It is muscle memory. It is practice. And like, I hate saying that, but like, I watched so many stupid YouTube videos on how to shuck an oyster by tens of different people to be like, okay, how are they doing it? And then eventually you just like, I personally have not seen anybody shuck exactly how I shuck.
Let me ask you this: are there good oyster shucker knives? And like, is there like a scale of like, this is like a good quality knife to use, and this is just like a cheapo knife, or like you could be really good with a cheapo knife?
I think you could be good with a cheapo
You can.
knife.
It's really, well, like when we were at Black Dynasty, they had like I'm not calling Rooney out or anything, but like, they had some shitty oyster knives. But I got the nicer one. But even like the worst that can happen is like you buy like a $2 oyster knife and it's like a flimsy ass like cheap plastic and like a shitty blade. Other than that, like as long as it's like a sturdy fucking like I
Can be sturdy.
damn near could do it with this.
With my wooden knife?
I think you could.
Yeah, is this wooden?
That's
as long as
wood.
it wouldn't break.
Haitian assassination knife.
The type of oyster depends a lot too. Some
Yeah,
of them,
because like I was about to say, like
Yeah.
construction of the actual oysters, like some oysters have like a really hard shell,
Yeah.
and they won't like you'll find like some like you go in and you go to like break the hinge and like the hinge just fucking snaps off, and you're like, what the fuck that happens with like they're not. It's just the lack of like actual shell on it, the thickness and density to it, and it just breaks off. Whereas other shells like PEI, like oysters, generally speaking, have like a really thick, nice shell. So it's like that's the shit where I can like, bam, 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 like
do 'em quick.
8 seconds, like in and
that's
out.
dope.
When you open one up and there's two in there, do you guys all kiss each other? Or how does that work?
I've never had that happen, but if there were two, I would kiss somebody. I found some pearls.
Wood, yeah.
Wait, like a double
You
yolk?
found pearls?
Yeah,
You just pocket them?
yeah. I have like a little collection at work. I gave 2 away the other day because I was feeling generous and people were having a bad day. But I was like, yeah, pearls.
Pearl Kings.
Yeah.
Now, might be a silly question, but is there restaurants where you can self-shuck?
I don't know. We've like talked about
They're
it
in like
doing
New
that.
Orleans, right?
Oh, dude!
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in Indiana, I don't know, but there's Hog Island in San Francisco-ish area. They have literally like outside picnic tables with like shucking knives like chained onto the table, so you can just get like a dozen oysters unshucked and just sit at the table and shuck them yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds more like an escape room. Like there's a key hidden in one.
You gotta earn
You've
it.
got to learn how to shuck them.
You have to shuck these 10 oysters before we release the gas.
Saw trap.
Yeah.
So you were talking about starting off. Did you start off at Ivy Tech, or you been in the industry before you went to Ivy Tech?
Yeah. So when I decided like I want to cook, I want to be a chef or whatever, I was like transitioning jobs and stuff, and I decided to go back to school. So that's when I went through the program at Ivy Tech. But previous to that, like I kind of did do stuff backwards because I was very much in like kind of like the food service management side for like a corporate job, even going back like close to 10, 15 years ago. And then I kind of fell in love with independent restaurants when I like moved to Indianapolis and was like starting to get serious about it. So that's kind of how that went.
I think that's really good though, because the best thing about corporate structure, a restaurant, or the only good thing in my opinion, is that they have so many systems.
Yeah.
They're really good at systems.
Yeah. It's like all the stuff that independent restaurants seem to lack.
Yeah.
Like
So if you can,
everyone hate.
Yeah, if you can take those systems and implement them on the independent level, then you're golden.
And I do feel like that has like definitely helped us kind of manage Strangebird to whatever success we've had. Is just kind of like because I know I seem like kind of a silly guy sometimes, but I'm pretty professional, with work, and I try to have the work ethic. My dad drove that into me, so. Yeah.
Can I ask you what your dad did?
My dad is he's retired now, but he was a biologist.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be really funny if he was a bum.
Piece of shit.
But somehow he drove that work ethic in me.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up like me.
And then somebody told me that you actually studied in Japan too.
Yeah. So
We had a leak.
this
Sorry.
was back back in 2017. The first like ramen place I worked in Indy was actually Ramen Ray. And that's where I like really fell in love with it. Yeah, I was there for quite a while, and a couple of us there ended up going to Japan. They have like all these like different like kind of like little ramen boot camp type things.
Ramen boot camp.
Yeah, dude, it's weird.
Like, is there an emotional break?
Maybe not quite like that. But,
Okay.
You know, it's basically like the point of these schools is to teach like complete beginners how to like manage like a small restaurant in like a couple weeks time. And that's even like as far as like recipes, management techniques, supplier stuff, all kinds of stuff. And so it was like translated with an instructor, so it was like very like accelerated. But so I did do that back then, and we did like another like week or so just like kind of exploring eating food in Tokyo and stuff, and then I just went back with Tice. What was that? October. Yeah. So I've been a couple times. It's very cool.
Where in Japan was it?
I've mostly been in Tokyo and Chiba.
Okay.
Yeah, the school specifically was in between Tokyo and Chiba. But yeah, it was called the Tokyo Ramen Academy. Yeah.
Were there like a lot of white people there, or was it?
It was like a mix. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. When I was there, they have like a little dormitory out back, and there's probably like, I think when I was there, it was like there was probably like 10 people total, and there was our group, 3 of us from Indianapolis. There was a dude from Denmark, a dude from Sweden, and then like a couple people from like northern Japan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was a really big swing. It was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick Tinker Coffee break, and we'll be right back after these words.
This week on the After Brunch Podcast.
Isn't it kind of funny, like, to think about like who thinks they can win though? When you see like, there's some people that participate to like do well, and there's some people that think they got it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just very interesting to see people's audacity. Or
I've never seen anybody who went into it last year thinking that they just had it.
Are you being sarcastic?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you think I thought that?
I think typically it's the worst people that think that like the people that are just like
Okay.
either never done comedy before.
Join us at patreon.com/Harder Brunch.
You guys get a chance to have some Tinker Coffee this morning?
Yes. Absolutely.
They are one of my absolute favorite businesses in the world. I feel so lucky that they sponsor us because, like, all of our sponsors are brands that we already use, stuff that we already liked, and now I get to give all of my guests the best cup of coffee I feel like Indianapolis has to offer. They do coffee subscriptions to your house. You can have it delivered to your house. If you use promo code BRUNCH, you can get 25% off your first order. What do you think, Dad?
I think coffee is something that people should try if they haven't. But if you already have tried it and you're like, I don't know if coffee's for me, try Tinker. I mean, I think that's where you're
Try it
going
either
wrong.
way. Either try it for the first time or come back and try it again, is what you're saying.
We'll try Tinker if you haven't tried it.
All right. Well,
Tinker around with it.
Tinker around. Think about it. Think about it for a minute.
Think about it.
Yeah, think it over. You like that one, Zach?
It was all right.
Well, you guys came on a I would say one of the high holidays of Harder Brunch.
Yeah, it's a major brunch holiday.
Hence the hat.
Which is a Con Air Day.
Yes.
And I feel like I made an assumption that just you seem like a guy that has seen Con Air before. So I was like, I'm not going to give him a homework assignment. Obviously, he's seen Con Air. Look at him. And then you're like,
I feel bad.
No. That's fine. Well, how old are you? Because I feel like there is an age.
I turned 30 in 5
Okay,
days.
yeah, that makes sense. Like you're I feel like you're on the cusp.
And I was also very sheltered. So there's like a lot of movies
Con Air's rated R, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh damn! Then no shot. I got to see The Godfather when I was a kid because my dad was watching it, and I was like, "This is fucking badass."
Oh wow.
And then like I remember watching Lord of the Rings PG-13 when I was like probably like 10 or 11. But like I was like, "This is a big deal." Like my parents are you sure you're ready for this?
Oh, and they sat you down and had the
Were you
Lord of the Rings talk?
Were you like a nervous kid who was like scared to, like I was scared of like horror movies when I was a little kid.
No, I was excited about them, but I never got to watch them.
What about you, Kyle? Have you seen it?
Con Air, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Familiar with it? So in the movie, Con Air Day all takes place basically on July 14th. And it's a guy who gets wrongly imprisoned for... He's protecting his wife and gets into a bar fight, but he's fresh from the ranger school, and he accidentally kills somebody.
Fist through the guy's face out here, and it's
like in the first
fine pink mist.
60 seconds of the movie. It's like he graduates from ranger school. He goes out to celebrate with his wife.
Abuse of force.
The most overly over the top aggressive hillbillies. Like hillbillies would come up and like, oh, so you think you're in the army makes you cool? Like that would never happen. That would never happen.
That doesn't make much sense.
Disrespecting the troops.
That's just bad writing.
Yeah, but I feel like he gives a roundhouse kick and then like snaps somebody, like he $1 million baby somebody, and he gets sent to jail for like 7 years.
I do remember thinking about that and thinking that was a major concern with learning how to fight. It's like, well, you can't learn how to fight too good because then you could murder somebody, and then
he pushes. He did the palm strike
the
up.
Nose, the nose blast.
That's the nose into the brain.
Yeah, and I remember the girl's like, "No, don't do it."
Is this all to the backtrack? How do I live?
So then he goes to prison, and then he spends his time in prison. Improving himself. He learns.
That's a happy man.
He learns origami. That's like the origami cranes. He teaches himself Spanish.
Where's daughter?
He teaches himself. He works out the whole time, keeps himself in shape in his prison cell.
Well, I mean, you don't let yourself go at prison. That's not the move.
But he's doing like upside down push-ups, from the ground and stuff. And then he's been doing this correspondence with his wife was pregnant when he gets arrested, and so he hasn't met his daughter yet, but he's been corresponding with her from letters and stuff. And then he's just like,
and she never visits him, right? He's like, I don't
want you to see me like this. So he's never seen his daughter in 7 years.
Wait, does he say that?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
That's fucked up. Like, like you know what it's like? No, not at all. If it can't be perfect, if I'm not free, I don't want to see you at all. Wait years.
Yeah, because like you have kids, right? If you went to prison right now,
that just seems like an excuse. Yeah.
You'd want to see your kids
through
the bars?
Every single day. Yeah. Even through the bars.
Even through the bars. Okay.
Even through the bars.
Okay.
So
that's a choice.
So he's supposed to go home on July 14th. He's so excited. He's going to see his little girl. And then the prison transport that he's on gets hijacked by inmates. And then it's the whole movie is him trying to fight off these inmates who've hijacked. So it's like all the worst of the worst criminals on one plane called the Jailbird. And then Nick Cage has to fight them all. It's an amazing movie. Dave Chappelle's like 19, and he's like John Malkovich, Ving Rhames.
Dude, he looks badass.
Oh yeah,
it's chock full of winners, man. It's a badass movie. It's all testosterone.
Tonight,
yeah,
gotta watch it.
So,
dude, bad boy, man.
So everything on the menu was. So we used to have these like Con Air Day, and we would get people like we did it like 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, I don't know if I can watch Con Air like literally every year. Like I need to take a break. But it's always great to watch it through the eyes of someone who's never seen it before. Like the first year Thad had never seen it. And so
we invited some people over.
Yeah, and we're watching it. And he's just like, no, this isn't really happening. What's going on here? What are they doing? They're landing the plane on the Vegas Strip. Like,
that is all that I know about is that they land the plane on the Vegas Strip at the end of the movie.
Yeah. And like people like it's like each scene is a different level. So like whatever was like true about the world in one scene, the next scene like, oh, this guy learned how to fly a helicopter all of a sudden. Like he didn't know how to do that before.
I feel like it was very progressive for its time. Like there's like a trans inmate and they all use the right pronouns the whole time.
Damn,
and for the 90s,
that was crazy.
Yeah, and then like when Nick Cage has to fight her, he slaps her instead. You know what I'm saying? Like that was progressive for the '90s. That was. So everything on our menu today was some sort of homage to the movie Con Air. Starting off with the cocktail. There's a line in there where they talk about because they're all like trying to go to this non-extradition country, and they're all going to drink Mai Tais on the beach. So the Mai Tais were the drink that they were all planning on having had they escaped at the end of the movie.
So the prisoners are reminiscing or
they're
imagining.
They're fantasizing about what they're gonna do.
Okay.
And then the first course. So one of the characters, Steve Buscemi, basically plays like a Hannibal Lecter type character, who's on it. Like, and the whole big joke is they bring him in like he's like fully geared up. You can't see who it is, and he's got the Bane mask on, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is the worst, the worst. This guy's the cannibal," and blah blah. And then they take the mask off, and it's Steve Buscemi. Like that's so funny.
I was born,
but his name was Garland Green, and I can't really explain it, but somehow he becomes like. Somehow this guy who's like eats children becomes like the comedy relief by the end of the movie, and you're just like, oh man, I hope he gets away.
I think that is one of the only people that actually gets away, right?
Yeah. But it's like,
and like the whole thing is he walks away and doesn't kill a child. And that's like the happy ending.
Does he?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't like. He
has a tea party.
He has a tea party the whole time, and it's very tense because it's like. He's bragging about murdering children like 10 minutes before, and then she sings a song for him, and he doesn't eat her. And then it's just like, this guy's not so bad. Like,
he used to be a piece of shit.
He used to be a real piece of shit. Sloppy steaks.
So the first course was the Garland Green salad. It was a long way to get to this pun. Go all the way around the lake. But it was the Garland Green salad, which was just a wedge salad with house blue cheese and blistered tomatoes and a bunch of bacon.
You think that scene was planned? Like
the movie, everything was planned.
Yeah.
Just like
what do you mean?
I don't know.
Because he's not that person.
Sometimes actors like to riff. And he's like, all right, what if we have like
what
this
if
girl?
He does, like I know I'm supposed to kill and eat this girl.
Yeah.
But what if I didn't?
Was beautiful.
What if I didn't in this scene?
But we just did a tea party.
But we paid for it already.
Yeah, in my mind, he escaped and returned back to eat the girl.
What? Why?
100%.
Why did you
I'll tell you what. I've gone down some rabbit holes with this movie, and there's people that believe that was one of his previous victims because they're like, why is this little dirty girl just in this junkyard? You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's having a tea party with somebody in his mind, and he's giving up the. Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, like he's
so she both did and didn't get murdered.
She's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't get murdered 2 times.
And eating the girl is like a tea party to him.
But at the end, or when they're flying away, you do see her run out and wave goodbye to the plane.
Yeah.
Because
he leaves the tea party and it's in suspense because you don't see her in the seat or whatever.
Well, maybe that's his Mai Tai.
Shame.
There it is. Sauce Boss, you had the next course.
So I did in-flight chili con carne nachos. They had chorizo in the queso. There was some shredded chicken on it and then some bacon bits on it. And that was my course. I called them in flight because I was really kind of making a stretch. And I put them in little boats, so it was tiny nachos.
It was good.
I loved it.
Also in the movie, he gets Doritos. Doritos had some product placement in the movie, and I felt like the nachos looked very much like Doritos.
Yeah. I wish I had remembered that, and I would have made them with...
Did Doritos make a nachos though?
Yes, at the beginning of Step Brothers. I just watched Step Brothers last night.
Yeah.
At the beginning of Step Brothers, when he's making nachos in the microwave, he puts like the cheese and melts it a minute, 10 seconds, which is primo time to make melted cheese nachos in the microwave. He's using the Doritos unseasoned, like just tortilla chips.
Wait,
Okay.
Doritos makes
Yes.
unseasoned
Yes,
chips?
it's a golden bag. Oh. Yes, and it's just
I mean, to be honest, I've never
tortilla
used
chips.
I've never used the flavored ones, but they've got to be good, right?
I just did that also like a week ago with Ice. We made like 5 cheese nachos pretty much because there's a lot of cheese in the fridge.
Oh yeah, and so the next course, I one of the characters' name is Diamond Dog, so I made Diamond Dogs, which were my version of a chili dog. I had some edible silver spray, and then some decorative sugar that kind of looked like diamonds that I put on the hot dog buns, and had chili, cheese, sriracha mayonnaise, and then green onions.
Which, spoiler alert, none of the black characters in this movie had real names.
I mean, I feel like everyone kind of had a nickname. You think it's mainly the black characters?
No.
Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the Virus,
Yeah.
Johnny 22.
I feel like everybody got why it's not even a bad thing that they had a nickname, right? Like that's one of the cool things.
They were all like Diamond Dog.
Diamond Dog is arguably the best name in the film.
It was Diamond Dog, and then Chappelle's was Pinball.
Kind of lame.
Pinball?
What was the pinball for?
Pinball Wizard?
Probably because
Tight.
he has bald head. I don't know.
Okay.
And then the Cameron Poe boy. Cameron Poe was the main character, so Cameron Poe boy. I feel like it was right there.
I like po' boys.
I feel like nobody can disagree because the things were good, but like it was just a lot of puns.
Yeah.
It was a very
pun heavy.
associated
Also,
puns.
we kind of have this unwritten rule amongst us, like when we have like chefs come in, we're not going to go high concept. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
So it's just like,
Dude, I loved it.
let's
I
just
thought it
make
was
some
amazing.
like fun, good
Yeah.
food. You
That's
know,
the
like
best food.
I want
Yeah.
yeah, trashy comfort food.
Oh, God.
Put a little extra love on it. That's the way, man.
And
I
then
don't want to eat anything.
the last course was snowballs, which was something he got given to in prison,
It got snowballed in.
or snowballed. Yeah,
But he got
I
snowballed.
knew we'd
in
get
prison.
there. I knew we'd get there.
and I had this idea at first. I was gonna go really high concept and like have like different parts of it, and then I was like, no, I'm just gonna-
Deconstructed snowball?
deconstructed snowball. And I was like, no,
That would have been tight.
I was gonna make like a pink coconut ice cream, and then
Nah,
I
dude.
ran out of time. I was like, how about just a snowball?
You guys do
It
this
was
once
awesome.
a week, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
That's a
don't.
lot of work.
I was happy when
Yeah.
a snowball came out and was put in
Well,
front of
also I was like, I got so into the puns of it that I forgot like what the actual menu looked like back to back. I was like, oh, we just gave him hot dogs and then a po' boy.
Yeah.
Like this and nachos. This is real starch heavy.
me. Dude, awesome.
I was stoked.
I feel like by the time the snowball, like when I drop the po' boy, there's a sound that comes out of the room when like that one course too many gets brought out, and it's kind of like all right,
I just
see what we
burped
can
and
do.
made room for it, so I was like, nice. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very fun. So hopefully you get a chance to watch Con Air.
I will.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to have a showing at Can, and I wanted to do like a
Yeah.
live like riffing on the movie because it's very
Yeah.
much like opened up itself to like riffing on and making funny like Mystery Science Theater 2000 kind of style.
That's tight.
And like being interactive. I have an idea for like a whole like drinking game, like bingo, you know, like when this happens, mark this off. When this like
I like that.
What did they say about it?
what do you mean?
Did you even reach out about it?
I did. They weren't good at getting back to me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So missed opportunity for maybe for next year.
Take that, Can. And speaking about Can, one of my favorite cans is Champagne Velvet. Champagne Velvet. Drink. Upland beer. If you have problems with drinking, don't drink. All right? That's serious.
Legally, we have to say that.
They're making us say that now. And if you have problems, drink them away. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Unless they're drinking
Unless they're drinking
problems.
problems.
yeah, unless they're drinking problems.
You got to do another substance to get rid of that.
Not good for if you have a problem, good if you do have a problem.
Legally, they asked you not to say that.
They asked me
Any
to
of
not
those
say the last part, but I won't. Upland beer.
Upland Beer is also the sponsor of our adult summer camp that we're having this year.
Are you going to that this year?
I'll be there. It's August 23rd through the 25th. We're gonna have comedy, camping, music, camp activities like canoeing, swimming, archery, and crafts. It's all sponsored by Culinary Crossroads. They're bringing the World Food Championships home this fall, and Upland Brewing. It's all inclusive. It's one ticket. You get to camp for the whole weekend. You get to drink beer all weekend. You get to do all this stuff. You get to see us do live podcasting.
It's pretty
and
cool.
stand-up comedy.
Live
Yeah,
podcast.
like it's really cool. And like if you skip the commercial at the very beginning, you're getting it right now, so you can't get away from it. Buy your tickets today.
Oh my god. What do you guys do outside of cooking? Like, what are you into?
Dude, I spend a lot of time lately. Just I don't know, been working on myself a lot. So, I mean, I go to the gym.
There you go.
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Yeah, I play video games, watch YouTube videos. I honestly spend a lot of time like learning about cooking techniques and restaurants and just like I don't know, just try to absorb stuff.
If you could tomorrow just do something completely separate and completely different food wise, like theme, what would the concept be?
If I could do anything tomorrow,
Yeah.
I think I would have show you shop in only the left side of the building that Strangebird is in, and probably not change very much. If I'm being honest.
Just make it
Yeah.
smaller.
Yeah, but yeah, we talk about sandwich shops a lot too.
Oh,
I'm okay. Could
Are
be
you
a
saying
hot take.
if it could
Could be a
not
hot
food
take.
related?
Yeah.
Or
Sure,
food related?
anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like. I've thought about this a lot lately. I like the idea of like having like simple concepts, but doing them like really well. You know, so eventually with ramen, like you kind of like hit a wall. Like I don't know if I want to do that exact thing for like
Sure.
20 years
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. You know, that's just not how it goes. But I also don't want to just run a restaurant that kind of does everything. So
You don't want to be the Cheesecake Factory.
yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
So like I mean I like the idea of
No
like
shade.
getting something pretty established to the point where like it's no longer giving back to you what it used to, and then you pass that on to someone like Tyson Turbo or whatever, and then move on, do whatever.
You get the sloppy seconds.
Kyle to Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
little K to K action.
Yeah.
Ty's before me, hands down. I would just that would be like Neil fully being like, you get to do oysters and like do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then I start doing the fucking caviar shit and hot dogs and being a crazy psychopath.
But
I would love
I think where I am with Strangebird right now, it's like it's such good experience running a neighborhood restaurant that is like, you know, up and coming or whatever you want to call it, and
It's working.
you know, doing it successfully. You know, we have a lot of seats. I'm even sometimes when I feel like, you know, I could do this better, I'm still constantly getting people saying like, man, I love this place. We drive up from wherever. I just need to be better about letting that sink in.
Yeah. I'm
You know?
I'm terrible at receiving compliments
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
point where I've had
I'm
to
the
like
worst.
I've had to like because I do stand up comedy and like you'll get a lot of compliments right afterwards.
Yeah.
And
It's like being in a band, dude. Success.
being so bad,
Yeah.
being so like not liking it. I have a procedure now where it's like if someone gives me a compliment for anything, I try to stop and give like the most sincere thank you I can because
Right.
they didn't have to give me that compliment.
Oh, right, yeah.
But then if they say one more thing past that, then I don't know what to do. Like I falls apart. Yeah, because I'm like there's part of me is like I don't believe that I deserve the first one. But if you give me a secondary compliment, then
You're
I'm
a
like,
liar and I hate you.
yeah, I don't trust you.
You became my enemy just now by that.
What are we even doing here? I also have this theory that compliments on a too long of a timeline become a criticism. You know, so be like, oh man, I love this ramen, it's so good. Oh, the decor in here is so nice. Like the parking lot could be a little bigger. You know,
Dude, that's the thing. Like, so yeah, having your own parking lot for a restaurant is pretty big,
Insane.
right? There's a lot of value there, but like it's open for the community. Like, there's no we're gonna tow you signs or whatever, and it's like, dude, everybody uses that.
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
and it's like, you know, that's like one of the little ways we give back that
Well,
probably isn't noticed.
Here's
but-
here's a truth about Irvington that not everybody wants to admit. Nobody in Irvington hardly anyone in Irvington likes walking anywhere. Like if if everyone had their druthers, they would pull up right in front of the door walk out. But then everyone wants to brag about how close they live to it at the same time.
Right,
It's like, I live 2 blocks away, but I drove, like.
I think it's that
easy.
historic tag.
I was about to say, coming here and then like being like, I could have ridden my bike
Yeah.
in 3 minutes. I was like,
Yeah, dude, I didn't. I'm pretty much around the corner.
When I think the last time I hung out with you guys,
Yeah.
it was like a birthday party.
Ty's 21st
Yeah,
birthday.
and I stumbled down the Penzie, and I was like, I'm so glad I live close here.
We were like, afterwards, I was like, okay, so he has, like, this whole situation has to be close because he's, like, drunk walking. I was like, that's safe. That'll be easy.
There's a picture I had just happened to be the day that I was coming in there. There was a comedian that was on a date eating ramen.
Yeah, dude.
And he was
worst
just
date food.
he
in
was
the world.
he was just
like, if I'm being honest,
he was just facing
Yeah.
like the Penzie Trail, and then all of a sudden he just sees me walking out, and there's just a picture of me looking like Bigfoot, like coming out of the Penzie Trail,
Wait, why do you think it's the worst date food?
because like,
slurping.
yeah, like
But maybe that's hot.
Maybe it's an aphrodisiac.
dude, maybe I don't know, but yeah, like I never set out to do like this ramen thing and like make it like a date destination.
you don't want people to fall in love.
I mean, it's awesome, but I just like I never expected that to happen. But
Can
it's
I be
like,
honest?
Yeah,
You
let's
seem
hear
kind
it.
of upset about it.
Well, it used to be my go-to spot, Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would. I mean, it was. It
You
was a
said
nice,
used to, though. What happened?
I'm fasting. No,
On the dates or on the ramen?
It's not the dates.
He's on a sexual fast.
Yeah. I've heard of those.
It's not funny.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a
But
choice.
yeah,
So, yeah, somebody had a choice.
I would say like I really like fell in love with the small restaurants in Japan that you go into and you get ramen that you eat it as fast as you humanly can and you're out in like 10 minutes. And obviously like it's just that's not the vibe in there. Like you get a couple drinks, you hang out,
drinks,
you schmooze, but also I'm just envisioning if I went to a first date situation with someone, I don't want to like this messy bowl of noodles, and I'm just like, dude, I really want to like eat this and enjoy it, but I gotta talk to you. Like, I'm like,
Sometimes you want to
know?
see her get messy.
Yeah.
Sometimes the obstacles are necessary. That's the
just-
laugh.
dude,
Well, yeah,
you
it's
have to
Like Cohen says, like
You have to
the
race.
mess ups are the goal.
Yeah, it's like dancing. It shows you how they handle something.
Yeah, exactly.
How you handle a big sloppy bowl of ramen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What do you think, Dyke?
it's time to play the Jiro card.
What's the weirdest complaint that you guys have gotten?
Dude,
Recently, there was one that said the oysters are pretty good for being in Indiana.
2 stars.
A little backhanded.
Yeah,
a little
dude,
backhanded.
That hurt.
I will say this. I've always kind of, and I'm still kind of getting over it, have this seafood aversion. Like it's weird if it's places that I kind of trust,
Yeah.
and chefs that I trust, then I'm like, yeah, keep it coming. But like if I just go out, I'm not gravitating typically personally to a lot of fish and a lot of seafood in Indiana. But if I go on vacation and I'm near the ocean, I'll be like, oh, give me that, even though it's probably coming from the same vendors. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about like the volume the place
Yeah.
moves, and if they need to like, oh man, we got to sell this before Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
Or if like, I mean, we just turn and burn oysters specifically in there, so it's just like
You're always
the
getting-
seafood is fresh.
Yeah, you're getting
basically
fresh
always.
food.
Like
Yeah.
we hardly have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, but yeah, like you definitely get plenty of places around, the Midwest in particular, probably that just like, don't do everything they should, and then it just kind of ruins it for everyone.
Yeah.
Is there GMO oysters? That's my question.
Not that I know of.
I'm gonna do some
There's gotta be
GMO oysters.
GMO and
You like-
seed
I'm
oil.
talk- I'm
big
talking-
boys.
huge
Yeah,
oysters.
Well, there's
Yeah.
like oysters are one of those things where if you don't like harvest them, they're gonna keep growing until they like,
So we need more giant oysters.
dude.
Dude, when I was in
like Eastern
I was
Asia
at a seafood
specifically has,
market
like,
in Japan, and there was an oyster shucked
Fucked up.
on ice. It was like the size of my palm.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
dude. There's a like
it was huge.
You gotta eat it with like a knife and a fork.
I was about to say there's a lot of places that like
Yeah.
steam them and then like cut it up.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, to like 6 still fucking massive pieces of oyster.
What's your go? I know you said it's not your favorite thing, but what is your like go-to topping on an oyster if you're gonna eat it yourself?
Tabasco.
Good one. Crystals before Tabasco, personally.
Oh.
It's just because it's pepper forward and not vinegar forward, where Tabasco is vinegar forward. I like that, but like, I admit there's like horseradish sorbet that we started making. This is a plug.
Yeah. I've had it. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
That is like the sickest idea that has like come to fruition in my life. And
that was you?
Well, like, yeah.
You created
it?
Well,
okay, so it's a recipe from, God, it's a fucking shack out in Maine that sells oysters, and I will not think of it in this time, so it's fine. But they have like a cookbook, and it's, they do horseradish ice, so you just freeze it and like scrape off, and so it makes like God, I can't think of it. Granita, like a shaved ice type situation. And I tried that and it was cool, but we had like a Paco Jet at work, and I was like, "Yo, can I like take this the concept, but like make it into like an actual sorbet to where like texturally it's 1,000 times better?
Yeah,
it's like you can actually like it melts when you bite the oyster and it's sick." That's my favorite topping. And it was just like, I had to we had to adjust some things. Neil taught me because of course Neil's like telling me like how to make a sorbet, and like, dude, it was kind of like not super big brain shit, but I was like, it's just like composition of like sugar to the rest of the ingredients and bullshit to like actually make it melt and have the texture of sorbet. So like doing that and just adapting that recipe and kind of tweaking it. Yeah. So I can't take full responsibility.
The baking and pastry is an exact science.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was just one like that was just a cool idea where I was like, dude, like this would be kind of sick, right? That's my favorite way to eat oyster.
I'll co-sign. I've had it, and I was like, I've never heard of this. I've never seen this before.
I was pretty.
What about you, Kyle?
What was the question?
What's your favorite go-to toppings for oysters? For yourself.
So I don't eat oysters very often because I've had there was one point in time where I was the only person that could shuck oysters in the restaurant. And part of that was trying the new ones when we got them in to get the flavor notes and stuff. And there's been a handful of times where I've like something's wrong. Yeah. Because like it's like some slight allergy or intolerance, whatever. So I don't eat them that often, but I was always just like a couple drops of lemon. Keep it real simple. Yeah.
That is probably one of the best ways to eat an oyster.
Keep it real clean.
Lemon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just lemon.
Enjoy the natural flavor.
Yeah, I think like one of the natural flavor. It's definitely easy to like when you dress them too much, it's like, does it like what are you tasting? You're tasting what you put on the burger, or are you tasting like the meat? Yeah. So it's like I try to approach it that way, and I just don't like to mess with things too much, especially something like an oyster. You know, it's like there's no food that you just don't really have to season or anything. Like it's already it's ready.
Salty enough.
Well, they all taste different too. So it's like, sometimes when you're putting too much shit on it, it's just like you're literally like covering up like the coolest part about an oyster. Sometimes when you're like overdressing it, like there's people that like will get like a dozen oysters with cocktail sauce, horseradish, mignonette, hot sauce. I'm like, are you gonna put that on every single one of those?
Please don't.
Because at that point you're just like taking all the nugget sauces from fucking McDonald's and just dipping your nuggets in it. That's stupid and it's cool, but like this is something that's like every oyster tastes different.
Yeah, like when I go to Strangebird, I bring in honey mustard, and it's always frowned upon.
That would honestly be kind of fire, dude.
I was gonna say Sweet Baby Ray's.
Ooh, buddy.
Just a quick little.
That's my go-to. Not a little, lot.
Yeah. Full just.
I should be able to see the oyster. I just not.
Can you drop a beat for me there, Sauce Boss? Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in today. This has been really fun. Thank you for celebrating Con Air Day with us. Can't wait for you to see it and experience it for the first time.
I'll watch it tonight.
You're going to love it.
I'll report back.
And message back, please.
Please let the people plug the restaurant, and then if you'd like to plug any of your personal social medias, you can do that as well.
You plug the restaurant.
Okay, so we both work at Strangebird. Strangebird showyousshop.indie on Instagram. Showyousshop.indie is the ramen pop-up that we are cooking out of now. Personal Instagram, the Kyle Machine.
Turbo Shucks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is a little Easter egg.
So Show You Shop is still considered a pop-up within Strangebird.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Okay. And so Show You Shop is you.
Yeah.
Operating.
Originally, that was the pop-up that I started.
Okay.
And I was also chef at Strangebird, and then we morphed,
Took over.
fused, whatever. Just because I was like, we have this little kitchen. Let's do this, So
And you guys are closed on Sunday.
close on Sunday,
Monday.
Wow,
Mondays.
Because it's open right now.
Sunday is a very special day.
Yeah.
Sunday?
Oyster Day.
All day. Happy hour oysters.
What?
12 per customer, please. Unless I'm being nice that day.
Okay.
Wait, 12 per customer?
So pretty much.
This
This is the worst plug ever.
This has fluctuated a little bit.
No, it's just it was a joke. It's an insider. But like sometimes I'm running low on oysters, so I have to be like, okay, if there's 4 people at a table, you can get 4 dozen oysters. That's it. So like it's 12 per person, but it's like I'm not gonna police. It's like they're not eating that. Excuse me.
We
No, it's
gotta
just
take that back to another table.
excuse me. That's not for. Okay, I need that. But no, it's like technically 12 per person. I don't like getting people's hopes up, thinking that they can come in and just be like, I want because there's been times where it's like
1,000 oysters.
like 120 to a table.
Dude,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
sometimes
there's like
people-
4 of you.
Sometimes people
And I'm
get
like,
pissed.
this is a
They're
little
like-
much.
They think the happy hour. is
I'll
like-
have like 300, and it's like
Yeah.
you just wiped out half of it for you
Yeah.
guys. Baseline is I want everyone to be able to eat a dozen oysters.
You don't have to walk out and do an oyster
Yeah.
convention.
We don't want to sell out of them.
Because I want it to
an
be
hour,
a
then
fun
people
time
show
for
up and they get
everyone. I
pissed.
want to be like,
Yeah.
I want to keep shucking them all day, but like I also
Yeah.
don't want to like be like 8:30 and someone's like, I would really love a dozen oysters,
Yeah.
and they can't eat it.
When they ask for 120, were you like, oh, shucks?
Shuck off, dude.
You decide. Is that a good one or a bad one, Zach?
Google says that's
silence.
a bad one.
Silence. All right.
That is Jake.
So when you ordered 120 of them, were you like, oh, shucks?
You double down? You double down on that horse shit?
I got the laugh still, baby. No, you didn't get That's right. We all laughing right now because the joke's so damn good. Hell yeah. You can follow me at Thad Mckee. At Thad Mckee. That's Instagram, on X, everything else, baby.
You don't get a plug for that. Bleep this plug out.
No, I'm not gonna plug out. I'm a comedian that needs more work.
Starving artist.
Zach Rowe.
You can find me at Zach_Roan on all social media.
Casey Campbell.
You can find me shucking and jiving on Instagram at Danger Brewer.
Thank you guys for listening. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's love.